What up, boys? We're back on a beautiful Sunday morning, man. I had, man, I'm just so tired. Last night. I was like, my friend wanted to watch the UFC with me, and it was Pereira Ankalaev, bro. I was so hyped. I'm like, Pereira's gonna one shot this guy. Stay up all the way until go through all the. First of all, and I was also upset because Justin Gaethje, Dan Hooker, I don't even know what happened. I think Dan Hooker had to get surgery on his hand or like that. Back to the fight, and that was supposed to be they both were one of us is ending up in the hospital. Like that was gonna be fight of the night. And then Justin fought this other guy, Fiziev, something like that. Easy win. And then the final fight, bro. I wait till 1 in the morning to watch this shit. 12:30. And it was the lamest shit I've ever seen in my life. It was literally a dude threatening to take down. It was literally Ankalaev threatening to take down Pereira for the whole fight, and Pereira being so over focused on the fact that he might get taken down that he just didn't throw punches. He just kept throwing kicks, which Ankalaev was just eating. And then it's like, dude, he got bopped a couple times. I mean, I think round 2, if it lasted any longer, Pereira was gonna get knocked out. And I was like, no, bro, he bleeds, bro. Shama, he bleeds. So it was so lame. Dude, he had 13 takedown. Ankalaev went 0 for 13 on takedowns. And even which is that should count for something, right, on Pereira's part. But at the same time, Pereira wasn't pushing the pace. He wasn't doing nothing. He was literally just he was holding back. He was holding A-S. He was not W-A. S? S. He was holding backwards, whatever. Anyway, so that happened. So then I woke up. I wanted to wake up at 9. Because I had some work I needed to get done for work. I needed to finish the newsletter for March and to send it out tomorrow morning when I get to work. But then I woke up kind of late. I didn't know that it was daylight savings switch, so I lost an hour of sleep. What's that about? And then, so then my plans were foiled. I wake up, Julianne's like, oh, we're going to go to dim sum with my family to celebrate my birthday at 1:30. And I was like, fuck, I don't have time. And then Julianne's like, also, I'm going to come over because I need to drink, we ran out of coffee, let me drink some of your coffee. She came over, I made her some coffee. And then we went to dim sum. So that was my whole morning. And now it's 3 o'clock, and I still haven't done what I want to do. And now I'm convincing myself, man, I'm just gonna do it tomorrow morning when I get to work before anyone gets there. I'm just gonna get there early, which is definitely not gonna happen, bro. No matter how many times I tell myself that that's not gonna happen, but I'm gonna try to make it happen this time. So that happened, and then I don't know, bro. Dim sum is fire. I've never had dim sum at the place that they eat dim sum here, where we live. But I had it when I was in Malaysia in December, and I had it then, and it's so far. What it is if you guys don't know, dim sum is it's like tapas, it's like tapas, like appetizers, but in small portions, but in a Asian with Asian cuisine. So they'll just give you and they're these stackable bowls. So you can have steamed food, you have steamed dishes, then you have not steamed dishes, bro. Like pork buns and stuff like that. There was honey glazed pork buns, and that's not steamed, but the steamed stuff is also buns. And dude, I'm sorry, it's hard to explain, but yeah, you're just getting appetizers of. Oh, I had some chicken feet. I never had chicken feet until I was in Malaysia, and then I didn't really like it. And then I had it here, and I was I'm getting more privy to it. And I'm oh, I understand this thing. It's just there's not a lot of stuff to eat on chicken feet. You're just spitting out bones most of the time. So strange. But yeah, it was fire. And then we got some boba afterwards. It was crazy. So Julianne has 2 siblings, and her brother, he's in college right now. He has, since I've known him, he's been in 3 or 4 relationships, and I've only known him for 3 years. So he's always doing something. And then her little sister is in high school, a sophomore, I think. But it was crazy because she's never had a boyfriend, so I don't even think she doesn't consider him as her boyfriend, whatever. But everybody at the dinner table was everyone with their partners. They or her brother has a new girlfriend now. We met her. Dude, all cool people. It was crazy. It was just like this big. I don't know. It's like I think so. My family is very small. Like I have a very not small. Yeah. My family is usually just me, my parents, and my nana, and my sister. Like it's literally just us most of the time. We have a couple extended family, but not really. But I've always wanted to be a part of like a massive family, you know, where you're out on like, you know, you have this huge, you know, farm, or like, you know, you have a big like after church, you guys all go to church together, and you or like, I'm not saying I want to go to church, but like in the sense of like you come back and you have like all this family, or you have like the Christmas party, and you have, you know, all your aunts and uncles and all your brothers and sisters who now all have children and spouses and things like that, and you just have like, you know, 30 people. And it was like I got a taste of that today, where it was like everybody, there were so many people, like even the simple dinner, which was close relatives, was like 8 people, 9 people, and my family wasn't even there. So like imagine when all the families are together, it's gonna be live, bro. When we're like older, when we have children and stuff like that, and our children have children, and her siblings have their children have children, and like we're just like grandparents with all of the siblings and grandparents, it's gonna be freaking sick. That's gonna be a sick time. So yeah, I had a nice little lunch. And I'm back here. I'm like, do I do the work, or do I just go play video games with Jamil? And I think I'm gonna go play video games with Jamil, because I told him, I was like, I stopped playing with him around 10 because I was like, oh, my other friends, they want to go watch UFC. I'll be back at 12. Well, it didn't finish till 1, and at that point, I was kind of like tired and ready to go to bed because I was sipping on some Jameson. And yeah. But this other thing that's weird is like, I don't know what it is. It's like, I feel like God has something in store for me that I'm not aware of yet. Cause like, you know, that new job, like I gotta fix my resume to apply for it, and I'm like sitting there and I'm like, do I really want this job? Like, do I really want it? I don't know. The only reason I really want it is because the office is in the gym that I built. That's really why I would want it. But it's just like there's like some resistance, and I'm like, I don't know. I feel like there's something else in store. Like there's something brewing up. Something's happening. Just the way I've been talking to people in startups, the way I've been talking to those guys at the park. I'm gonna reach back out to one of those guys and be like, I don't know, just asking for advice, or like what to do, or like what he thinks, or. And the thing is, like, I have a friend in Web3, which is like Bitcoin and NFTs and like that type of world, which it seems very like that type of stuff seems very sketchy and scammy because it is right now, but like in the long term it's mad genius. Like it's like revolutionary. Like imagine like Web3 is like essentially, imagine you're posting on TikTok or something, or even on YouTube. You're posting on YouTube. But when you post on YouTube nowadays, like right now, when you post on YouTube, the TikTok or YouTube or whatever is still the owner of your content. You are not the owner of your content, right? And that's why, like, essentially in Web 2, which is what we're in now, is like is that our data is the thing that people are selling, that these companies are selling, right? And so, because they have full ownership of all of our data, and that is what they sell, and that's how they make a lot of profit. And so Web3 is essentially saying that this would all be tied up to in Bitcoin or something like that, where it would be a social media where each individual fully owns their content, right? And that's freaking insane. And other, like, it has really good ideas. Like, let me think of a better example. Maybe, I don't know, but like it's just a way to give ownership to people, like, and cut out banking or cutting out the middleman. So another thing was like Tory Lanez, which is, there's a conspiracy of this is why he's in jail. Well, yeah, he shot Megan Thee Stallion, but this is like why there's some, okay, whatever. It's not really conspiracy, whatever. Essentially, before he got arrested, he talks about how he hacked the whole music industry. Like he just broke the system. And so he bypassed labels. He released his album like essentially on the blockchain, where let's say there was 1,000 pieces of his album, or let's say he sold, yeah, 10,000 NFTs of his album. Where when you buy the NFT, you get access to his album, and that's the only way you can get to his album. And he sold it for $1. Now there's 10,000 people with full ownership over his album. And now those people can make a shit ton of money. And those people are us, like individuals, right? And so it's making it so people have ownership over things rather than the label having ownership or whatever, which would totally break the system. Which would be the same thing if like Drake went independent. It would fully like just break the world, right? So it's really about giving. Web3 is about giving ownership back to the individual. And also making it so, like, by using crypto, which is like a what's the word? Decentralized currency. So like, there's no one owns crypto, right? Like no one owns Bitcoin. So like, yeah, there's just stuff. But I was talking to my friend that was in Web3, and I was like, yo, you got a job for me? Like, do you have something that like a remote job, or something in Web3? And he's like, dude, to be honest with you, just remote work in general is just so hard to find these days, and also, just like this industry is getting hit pretty hard right now, and which is crazy because when I was talking to the guy at the park, I was telling him how like, oh, my company wants me to, like, instead of like 30 hours from the office, 10 hours from work from home, they now made it so I'm fully in office 40 hours a week. And he was like, oh, like, because they probably own the space. And I was like, no, actually my company is a public company, but so they don't really, the state owns the space. But his point was more so like, for a lot of private companies, they're asking people to come back, even though the data shows that people are insanely more productive at work from home. They are bringing people back to the office because they are paying rent and they're spending money on like the infrastructure, like the spaces in like the offices, right? And they want people to they want to make good use of it and make people go there. But which is, I don't agree with that. I mean, I'm not gonna freaking sympathize with rich ass people, like, what the fuck. But at the same, like, why would they not just repurpose those buildings? Like okay, I don't know how to explain this. If any of you guys have worked in like middle management, administrative work, or HR stuff, or like kind of you're just working middle management, there are days and there's a lot of times where you kind of complete all your emails, you finish all your work within the first like 2 hours of the day. And now we don't get like a lot of places, you don't get your pay, lunch is not paid for. So instead of 9 to 5, you're working 8 to 5, but you already finished your work by 11 o'clock. So now you have to sit there. Dude, you can just walk around any office and you'll just see, like, people on their phones, people just like mindlessly scrolling or just like pretending to do work which is fine, but it's like we're having to pretend to do work. Now obviously there's a lot of days where I'm like all last week I was getting cooked. Like I had so much work to do, and those days are awesome. You feel good those days because you're like, I just did so much stuff. There's always stuff to do. But there tends to be days like, I genuinely think the real, like, people should only be working like 4 days a week with paid lunch. 3 or 4 days a week paid lunch if you're gonna be in office, and they'll cook it. I mean, they'll do so much. But I genuinely think but then again, the CEOs are like, okay, so you're being here for less time and I'm paying you the same. Well, yes, because I'm getting the same amount of work done. Like, how much time me being here doesn't change how much work I get done, because a lot of time is wasted because you're just like watching the clock run out. So then you could like leave the office to be like, well, I was here 8 hours. But a lot of days, dude, if I can leave at like 11 or 12, nothing would change, like, at all. Because I get majority of my stuff done in the morning. Now, obviously, if you have meetings or you have events, or there's things that can happen in the afternoon. But for the most part, and especially Fridays, bro. Fridays. Well, the thing is, like, my department asked me to. Like, my department is like work in the office. Even though like half of my department does not live in like some or half my office is work from home only. But they made me sit there because we have a phone that I have to answer, whatever. But like in my whole like company, most of the departments have tons of work from home, like 2 days a week minimum. So I'm just like, I don't know. I really think a 30-hour work week would suffice. Like doing 3 10s or 3 10s I think would be fine, or 4 8s. I think people would get a lot done. Now this is different from necessary stuff, like necessary, which is crazy to say, but like, food services, mail services, like infrastructure, like so that type of stuff. Like those, you have to be there every day. Like Amazon workers have to be there every day, or people won't get their packages, right? Like, which sucks because it's like, why can't people just wait? You know. But I don't know. I don't even know what I'm talking about at this point. I'm just like yapping about nonsense. I just think like a lot of times, like when you hear the word project manager, or like, there's a lot of middle management stuff where you're like, man, these people are not doing too much. Like they're not doing a lot, probably because they're not being like given a ton of projects to do. So then they just like I know a place that like hired like a department in my company that hired a couple project managers recently, and those project managers are kind of like, we're doing some stuff, but we really haven't been appointed or are given much tasks to do, and it's not like up to them to go, be on their toes to go figure out what to do. That's not what a project manager does. Like you're usually like, here's what way we want you to deliver it. But if there's not being told anything to deliver, it's just willy nilly. I don't know. But it's like you have to create jobs for the sake of creating jobs because people need to work because they need it. That's what this AI shit doesn't make sense to me. Because, okay, let's just say we got rid of trucking totally, and it was all self-driven trucks, and we got rid of like warehouse things and supply chain things, and it was all AI. It was all robots at some point, like 30 years in the future. How are you going to do that unless you have a plan for universal base income or something like that? Because you're taking a ton of people out of work. You're slowly, and then maybe at some point when AI is crazy, exponentially decreasing the amount of jobs available to humans in the world. But then you're not giving those people money or shelter or food to do anything. So now you're essentially just like taking a means towards surviving away from people indefinitely without having a plan of universal base income. Like, dude, if we had universal basic, that's why it's like, oh, but if you have a universal base income, then why people won't be incentivized to work? It's like, dude, you're like, that doesn't even make any sense. People like, they're like, why would why would a sanitary worker be a sanitary worker if he didn't have to be? And it's like, okay, I understand your point a little bit, but people tend to do their jobs better and do the things they tend to do with a smile on their face when they are not stressed out about how much they can afford. There's plenty of sanitation workers that are just passionate about like they understand that it's really because even someone asking that question, that didn't come out of my ass, but like, so I really have heard that, and even saying it in that way, you're almost degrading sanitation workers, being like, who would do that nasty, dirty, like degrading job? Like, if the people had money, if there was universal basic income, who would be incentivized to do it? And I'm like, dude, I don't know. If you connotated it, I don't know. If you said it in a better way and you brought a different perspective or light to what sanitation work is, I guarantee that a lot of people will be passionate about it. Because it's not, and like, some of that can be taken with AI, but it's really about like, okay, me keeping my house clean. Why do I do that? Well, it's because you feel a lot better when the space you're living in is clean and nice, right? So my purpose for cleaning my house is not because I want money. for cleaning my house. It's like, no, I know this is this thing I have to do, and it will make me feel. Okay, sorry, I didn't realize that I ran out of time. But what I was saying is like, the reason I clean my house is not because like I'm getting paid. Now obviously it's my house and it's like a different type of feeling. It's more so like I'm doing this thing because I know that I will feel better, and it's nicer and better on my mental health if I have a clean environment. And if you're to extrapolate that further and think of like sanitation operations and sanitation workers in general, it's like I want to keep this school clean. I want to keep these buildings clean. I want to keep this city clean and this environment clean because I know it feels so good in my heart to know that I'm like cleaning up the space to make it so like the citizens of this space or the students that come into this school or whoever can feel better because they're like in a very clean environment, and you feel better when it is. And like that reasoning for a sanitation engine or like a sanitation worker to be working in sanitation is so much more powerful than just being like, well, I just do it because I need to make money. Like that's why I do it, right? It's like if you can. When AI comes and takes over, it's like there needs to be a reframe of a lot of jobs, or even now. I mean, now if we have universal basic income, there just needs to be a reframing of a lot of jobs, right? Because it's not, people are not gonna just like, I'm not gonna like, if there was universal basic income, it's not like people would just all of a sudden quit everything, right? I don't think that would happen. There might be some people that would quit for sure, but a lot of times people's jobs and like what they do is purposeful. And it becomes more purposeful when you take away money. Like money is a terrible it's a great extrinsic motivator, but like there's like a social psychology study I learned about like in college that was like it was like trying to get kids to keep on reading, right? And so they would give the kids stars, right? When they read a book or you know whatever, read for however many pages, and at a certain point the kids stopped didn't care about reading anymore. They didn't want to read. It wasn't about reading. They hated reading. It was more about getting the star. And so their whole intrinsic motivation of like I want to read because I love books. I love being immersed in a book. I love learning. It's like such an adventure reading. That was taken away by extrinsic motivation of the star. And so you can see that in society as a whole now, where it's like when you're going through these job interviews and the market is so bad right now, not for like for everything. The market is just, I mean, especially for like specialized work when you have your master's degree and stuff like that. It's very hard. It's like the job market, I mean, it's just terrible right now. Like, right? It's a terrible job market. And when you go into these interviews and they're like, you know, why do you want to work here, right? At a certain point, it just becomes like, holy shit, I need to get a job. Like, why is it wrong for me to be like, I want a job because I need money? Like, is that wrong for me to say? I need money. But at the same time, because it's like, you're being honest, which is true because that's how your extrinsic motivation works. But, you know, and for the person that is like recruiting you, they're like, wrong answer. Actually, that's not noble of you at all. I wanted to hear like more of like a passionate like why are you intrinsically motivated to like to do this job, or like why are you passionate about it? But it's like when you make people, you put people in survival mode and you make it so everything in this fucking country is so expensive, and now there's infinite tariffs everywhere, and people in eggs is $7 or whatever. It's like people need money. That's just it, right? Like that's just crazy. So I don't know what my point of any of that was. I'm just kind of yapping. Anyways, it's a beautiful Sunday. And yeah, guys, girls, gays, queers, they, them, z's, her, any, all, everyone and anyone, have a beautiful rest of your Sunday. I'll catch you guys on a Monday for video number 37, I think. That'd be